Top of the morning to everybody except for these two bum-ass beachies. Bro saved the village, got injured, and you stop his biological sister from actually healing him. Like it's some borderline stranger danger situation. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, but now I was messing around in that last video about that death note. But after today, after reading this chapter, yo ass gotta go. Somebody get me Light Yagami. Boruto has been captured. Man, you know Shikamaru gonna let his ass out, so we good. So picking up from my last video, I had an exchange with somebody in the comments about Kawaki. Something along the lines of how great a character he is and what kind of character he's gonna be. Regardless of all the character analysis or the borderline development, I just don't like Kawaki, period. Now my fellow subscribers, let us unite together and assemble like the Avengers, no relation, and boo this bootleg Uzumaki glazing reject so he never graces our safe space with another borderline hate crime.
You suck!
Now in the hypothetical event that this individual is either built to kill Thanos or perhaps black.
Fight back, man!
I didn't mean anything by it, so please have a nice day. Now hit that like and subscribe button. In the event that I get caught lacking, anything from like getting jumped to, I don't know, like a paper cut, I want to be able to pay those medical bills. Whee! Now this chapter was very dialogue heavy to the point where I actually had to read it. So let's talk about it. So seeing as Kashin Koji now has the ability of Disney Channel's Raven Baxter, I bet you can't guess the color of my drawers. Trick's on you because I'm not wearing any. Damn! Yo, I was actually just playing, or am I? Kashin Koji, like many of our favorite protagonists, experienced a classic shonen anime moment where on the verge of death, he finally taps into his divine power, surpassing his limits, which in turn explains how he was able to escape death despite catching that mean two-piece from Ishiki. Kashin Koji has the ability to see all possible futures. So spoiler alert, Kawaki gets killed in all of them. And as the captain of the Kawaki Hate Squad, I approve this message. Quick side note, I rebuke all the hate comments towards my Lord and Savior, Boruto Riz Uchiha. Boruto and Kashin Koji are in one of Orochimaru's hidden hideouts. And from the introductory exchange that they had, Kashin Koji's already figured out who Boruto actually is and actually understands that him and Kawaki actually switched places. Basically, he reverse engineered the concept of omnipotence. After catching that fate from Ishiki, he pretty much came to the conclusion that luring him out and leaving the rest of the Hokage was the best course of action. Well, trick's on you, buddy. He's no longer the main character. All that future sight, and you couldn't even see that? Sounds like a skill issue to me. We learn more about Shibai Otsutski and Shibai devouring several planets and mastering all Shinjutsu. The cyborgs that are model designed are all bound with Shibai's DNA, hence why they have Shinjutsu abilities. So Damon has the reflection, Code has the claw marks, and Ada has omnipotence. We can also now add Kashin Koji to that because he now has the 10 directions all future sight ability. Kashin Koji explains every possible timeline, even to the extent where he knew Naruto was going to use Baryon mode. But the difference is that there's a version where Naruto actually dies in that fight, Boruto gets fed to the Ten Tails, and Kawaki becomes Ishiki's new vessel. There's even a timeline where Boruto's actually black. Okay, that one I lied about, but you know what I mean. Kashin Koji tells Boruto that the biggest advantage that they have is the fact that they have all the information about what could possibly happen, which I definitely agree with. So with all the information that they actually have, they can travel along the timeline to lead to the best possible outcome. He even goes a step further and tells Boruto that he can teach him all the jutsu that he's bound to learn in every timeline, which basically explains why Boruto's so strong. And it actually makes me sit here and wonder, how strong is he at this point? I mean, I've made videos about it before. This opens the floodgates to new possibilities. More on him later. Actually, scratch that. We're gonna tap into that right now. Let's talk about it. So Boruto, as of right now, has mastered and knows all the jutsu that he'll learn in every possible timeline. Koji's words, not mine. Quick side note, Boruto's goal is to restore the Uzumaki clan, just like his real daddy. You'll never escape the allegations. From what we've seen so far, I already knew that Boruto is the strongest, but at this point in time, I definitely think the gap is a lot further than we thought. From easily besting characters like Code, who we can actually confirm was far stronger than Boruto during the time skip when he was running away the moment Sasuke got caught. From that to forcibly persuading Kishimoto to giving Code that Orochimaru treatment. Boruto had an exchange with a full power, bloodlusted Sage Mode Mitsuki, to which he stated he plans to get a little rough. Despite this fight being won to actually save a friend, I think we can all come to the conclusion that one, Mitsuki wasn't winning nothing. Especially because he actually said it. So, yeah. Boruto had a quick exchange with Kawaki in his desperate attempt to get rid of him. Boruto effortlessly dodges Kawaki's rods that Sasuke could barely track, and rods that Naruto needed Baryon mode for in order to effortlessly catch them, all to leave Kawaki on the ground with his ego shattered. Now, the questionable moment was when Boruto's karma started to activate, which is when he genuinely saw a sense of panic. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, Kishimoto, I'm gonna need a whole explanation on that. Please and thank you in advance. He barely broke a sweat against Hidari, and personally, I think if it was a 1v1 versus Boruto and Hidari, he still would have faded him easily. Let's keep it a whole buck here. If Boruto never came back to the village, who was these dudes even gonna rely on? These guys? Considering what we've seen so far and what we now know, this opens the doors to many possibilities. One too many for this video. Either way, we have about 400 Shinju humanoids coming to the after party in the Hidden Leaf. And after the way y'all struggled without Boruto, y'all are cooked. Now, from Kashin Koji's future sight, we now know that we have 400 Shinju humanoids coming to the Hidden Leaf, which basically explains within the teaser and the trailer at the beginning of the story why the Hidden Leaf was actually in ruins. Now, I don't think all 400 of the humanoids will be as strong as Hidari, but I definitely think that seeing as Jura's the leader, he'll definitely have his set of Shinju Avengers, and then the rest will probably be borderline fodder. The Boruto Fugitive timeline is the one that we're currently on. And as of right now, it seems that Jura is trying to recreate the tree, which I definitely think is coming. I definitely think Shibai Otsutski is definitely going to make a cameo. Now, whether he be a friend or foe is really down to the powers that be. I see this in two instances where he could be like a Hagoromo figure, where he gives a power up to Boruto and Kawaki to be able to deal with Jura, or he ends up pulling a Kaguya where Jura's at the peak of his power, and then he uses that as a way to overtake Jura, and then he becomes the ultimate final villain. Because at the moment, Jura is still evolving as a character and power-wise. And after the display of power he just showed, at this point in time, he's gonna be a whole problem. Jura's back at the hideout, and it seems like they have a new Shinju Avenger who's joined the team. One who's been modeled after Shinki. Well, Gaara's kid. To be honest, Shinki been non-existent in the manga. I mean, he potent in the anime. I mean, him and Boruto went at it. But outside of that, this guy's been literally a whole ghost in the manga. On top of that, Hidari's back, so it seems like the Shinju Avengers are back at full power. Regardless, the Hidden Leaf needs to start training, because I know for a fact Jura is definitely pulling up. And this time, he coming with the entire team. One of them had y'all on the ropes, and he was getting jumped. Despite all that, we definitely have a problem And my personal take as of right now, the only person who stands a remote chance of actually making a difference is currently in handcuffs. Yeah, y'all are finished. Closing thoughts? Boruto's been captured. Shikamaru's gonna let him out. Kawaki, your days are numbered. As you can see, he's making desperate moves to the point where people are kind of questioning his motives. People who don't know. So I'm talking Konohamaru. But as of right now, seeing as the frog has actually gone, it makes me sit there and wonder if Kashin Koji's actually gonna pull up. Ada and Damon, I would assume that those two are under the impression that Kashin Koji's dead. So I'm definitely curious to see what that exchange actually looks like. Kashin Koji's aware of omnipotence. Shikamaru knows more than enough about it to the point where he definitely believes Boruto. We have Sumire, we have Sarada, and then on top of that, we got Ada and Damon. So that's definitely enough to expose Kawaki and to exonerate Boruto. I find it interesting that despite all of Kawaki's actions, Boruto only wants to knock some sense into him. The idea of unaliving him is off the table. Like, bro, I get it. But like, I ain't saying you gotta kill the dude. But look, it doesn't mean he has to come back with all his limbs intact. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Kawaki didn't intensely trigger omnipotence. I mean, he wasn't aware of it. And there are some moments in the story where he is showing, I won't say remorse, but more regret. But the thing that makes me a lot more unforgiving is the fact that he's trying very hard to cover up his lie. That's where the problem stands for me. Now, we could technically blame Ada, but then again, she was unaware of the ability, and on top of that, she can't control it. Plus, if you step to her, you got to deal with the little brother, and at this point in time, this guy's plot armor is just way too thick. How can you sit there and reflect all ill will intent? So any form of ill will or harm towards him, he can automatically reflect it. At this point in time, you're just gonna have to suffocate him with a borderline hug. Now that things have calmed down, the battle's over as of right now, Boruto's been captured, and the Shinju are now hosting a recruitment fair. But yeah, did you like this chapter? Did you not like this chapter? Where do you think the story's going next? Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace!